Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to talk about my experiences with installing a KNS piston in my KUSA KP-104, running it both suppressed and unsuppressed, and the results that I got from it. The first part of the video is going to be strictly just on the KP-104, but at the end I'm going to kind of summarize my experiences with KNSs and other AKs that I have, the benefits, and if I think that they're worth it or not. I do have a couple other videos out talking about the KNS pistons installs into my FB Radom Barrel and also my SAM 7K. I am also running one in my Glial Ace Gen 2 chambered in 556. So was hesitant initially to get a KNS piston in this because from what I read and what I understood, the KP-104 is based on the AK-100 series, which I guess from what I understand, it's had some changes so that they don't, some changes in the gas system so that they're a little bit better gassed. AKs are known to be pretty much notoriously overgassed. So some of the reason why they're so reliable. And what kind of backed that up a little bit is some posts that I had read on some of the social media out there, which you take with a little bit of grain of salt, but some experiences where people, they said they didn't really need it. And so, I was hesitant to kind of drop the money on one. KNS pistons are not cheap. Depending on where you get them from, you're looking at $125 to $145, something like that. So, you don't want to throw your money in the trash. But what I think KNS, they typically say what is really indicative of how your gun, or if your gun may benefit from one of their adjustable pistons, is by how far it throws the empty cases when firing. Well, this gun, it didn't exactly just kind of dribble them out of the receiver when fired. It didn't throw it that far. Definitely threw it the least farthest of any other AK that I've ever had before. So kind of had my doubts on that one. But what did kind of grab me about this is this gun recoiled harder than any of my other guns. You could definitely feel it a lot more than my SAM 7K with its little 8.3-inch barrel, but when it comes to AKs, you really never know what you're going to get. Just because it's longer or shorter doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be indicative of being a better firing gun or smoother firing gun. At least I've definitely seen that with the ones that I have. But I do really love this gun. I do have a video out there specifically just on this, the overview, how I kind of put it together. So if you'd like to check that out, I'll link that in the description below. But really like this gun, and I really wanted it to be a little bit smoother. So eventually I went ahead and decided to bite the bullet, spend the money, and get the KNS adjustable piston. Um, Getting into removing the old piston and installing a new one. This one was definitely a little bit tricky. And the reason that is with Segas, with Vepers, and apparently with this KP-104, there's a lot of variation to where the hole may be where the piston screws into the carrier. All of their guns that I've worked on, they either already had a roll pin or they had a rivet. They were all the same. So when you got your new KNS piston, all you had to do is screw it into the carrier until you saw the hole line up, you install the roll pin, and you're done. So with the Russian variants, they don't do that. There is no hole that goes through the OEM piston. It's just like welded. Now, I'm not going to take this one apart because I got this gun zeroed in yesterday. I don't know how much this is the RS regulates returns to zero, but I got this thing perfect, so really not a whole lot to see anyways. Carrier has a hole. I think everybody pretty much knows what that looks like. But what I can show you is the old carrier, and you can see here where I had to drill the weld from both sides, and it got a little bit into the threads. You may notice also, and I was kind of surprised on this, look at all that rust that was on that thread. I did have a bit of cleaning to do. Once I took this apart, I had some heavy rust on my carrier. Also a little bit here where the gas block is up here, and then also back here at the front trunnion. It's kind of strange, which I haven't shot corrosive ammo in this, so I don't know why exactly that happened. But anyway, you see the OEM piston here. Once you drill this out and get it unscrewed, when you have to make sure that you measure from the end of the piston down to where your carrier is, and you want to take note of that measurement so that you have it once you screw this into the KNS into your carrier, that you have it at the same length overall. And then what you have to do is you got to take a number 99 drill and you have to drill the pinhole in it for the roll pin that comes with it. So That was a little bit tricky. Make sure that when you do that, you have a good drill and that you drill at slow speeds. There's it's again, you have to kind of cut through it. They do make a different finish on it, which I think it's nitrited, which is supposed to make it a little bit easier, but you are still drilling through steel. So again, make sure that get yourself a good cobalt drill, maybe even a carbide, and then just use really low speed. But definitely a little bit more involved than some of the other KNS pistons that I've had. But again, kind of going back to the main reasons of why I wanted to get this is because of the recoil. I'm going to go ahead and drop some video in here showing the benefits, shooting it in higher strings of fire with the OEM piston and then after the KNS piston is installed. So as you see, definitely a lot smoother with the KNS piston in there. I think at least with every AK that I've had, installing the piston and having it fully closed will give you less gas than even running an OEM piston. But with this setup in particular, with my gun shooting Wolf Military Classic 124 grain hollow point, I could adjust it to 30 clicks open unsuppressed, and it would still reliably cycle. The shells were landing like 4 or 5 feet away in a nice little pile. Actually, let me take that back. It was 30 clicks open with the Putnik installed. So, the Putnik, it is considered like a flow-through can, but not quite as flow-through as the Hux Works like I used to have on this before. So got it at 30. Then I went ahead and wanted to test it out unsuppressed. And then I had to back it or close it off down to 20 in order for it to cycle reliably unsuppressed. So with me, I like to set my KNS piston up whereas it will cycle reliably unsuppressed, and then I'll leave it there because I don't want to. I know it's easy enough to go adjust, but I don't really feel like messing with that. And there really is not a huge difference in felt recoil or even the ejection pattern between those 10 clicks between 30 and 20. And then secondly, let's talk about the benefits of the wear and tear in the gun. So obviously AKs, they're built like tanks. They can last probably longer than most people will shoot them. But if you can lighten it up so it's not slamming into the rear trunnion quite as hard and really beating up the gun, that's going to be beneficial as well. So you can see here, I'm going to drop a video in of the change of ejection pattern from the OEM piston to the KNS. This general area right here. So you see there as well, very, very pronounced difference between the OEM and the KNS. So smoother feeling, definitely smoother on the gun overall. I would say that it was definitely worth it on this gun here. Now, getting into a little bit on KNS pistons overall. Now that I've had, this is my third video on one, but also having one in my Galil, so you're gonna have 4 total. I'm absolutely, it's gonna be worth it. Now it's kind of strange because they're a little bit different. Now, to kind of summarize my previous videos, when I had my Sam 7K, I said that it was already very smooth shooting right out of the box, but it launched the shells like up and back like 20, 30 feet. It was tremendous. When it came to my FB Random Baril, through the case of not super duper far, probably about as far as it did the KP-104, but it was definitely jolting. And, I showed a video, the difference between the two side by side, the Sam 7K and the Baril side by side in a previous video, and you saw how much smoother the Sam 7K was. But in that instance, it definitely calmed down the Baril as well. Injection pattern is a lot lower, and then even more important overall, the felt recoil was quite a bit less. And then moving on to my Galil, chambered in 5.56. That gun right there, when shooting Tula, which is pretty weak ammo, that stuff there, it would not lock back on an empty magazine on anything but fully closed. So for a long time, I never messed with it whatsoever. Then I started shooting M193 through it, which is quite a bit hotter than Tula. That allowed me to get quite a few clicks down, and it really smoothed it up. I thought it was smooth to begin with, and it definitely does smooth it up. So pretty much kind of in summary, if you are thinking about getting a KNS piston, if you feel that your gun is overgassed, you feel the recoil is harder than what it should be, and if it's throwing your shells 15 feet or more, my opinion is it's definitely worth it. Again, saving the wear and tear on the gun, but it just makes it such a smooth shooting gun overall. Currently, I do have another KNS piston that I have. I recently got a WBP mini jack chambered in 5.56. That's got the 10.2-inch barrel on it, and from what I heard, those things are pretty overgassed. I guess as expected. Currently have that out, getting a side folder conversion done on it, so I haven't even had the gun in my possession yet. But already have a KNS piston waiting for it. So feel that overall, between for an AK-47. And KNS piston is definitely one of those must-have modifications that you should do to your gun. Again, just my opinion. Between a KNS piston and then a nice trigger, whether it be an ALG or any of the other ones that you may prefer over any standard mil-spec one. But that's it overall. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, share the video as much as you'd like, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.